Cristiano Ronaldo will be 41, Lionel Messi 39. In 2026, both walk onto the World Cup stage for the last time. 5 Ballon d'Ors each, over 1,700 goals between them. A rivalry that split football in half for 20 years. One already lifted the trophy. The other still hasn't. This is their final dance, and how it ends will define how the world remembers greatness. Ronaldo arrived first, a teenager in red and green, stepping onto the world stage in 2002. At just 18, he was all sharp edges and raw ambition, a force who would soon electrify Manchester United and ignite Portugal's hopes. His style was unmistakable, a sprint down the wing, a sudden cut inside, a shot that seemed to defy physics. Every touch carried intent, every celebration a signal that he belonged among the elite. 4 years later, a quieter prodigy emerged. Messi, 19, joined Argentina's squad for the 2006 World Cup. His debut felt almost whispered, but the ball seemed to obey his every thought. At Barcelona, he had already begun to slip past defenders in ways that made the impossible look routine. On the international stage, he was more elusive, a flick here, a feint there, drawing defenders and then vanishing in a blur of blue and white. In those early years, the two rose on separate paths. Ronaldo's Portugal relied on his directness and willpower, while Messi's Argentina looked to his balance and subtlety. Their club careers ran parallel, too, with Ronaldo dazzling in England and Messi enchanting Spain. Fans debated, analysts compared, but the question of who was greater felt like a distant storm gathering on the horizon. By 2010, both stood at the heart of their national teams, each carrying the pressure of a nation's longing. Yet in South Africa, their journeys never crossed. Ronaldo battled through Portugal's group. Messi orchestrated Argentina's attack, but fate kept them apart. The world watched both, searching for signs, one a flash of power, the other a glimpse of genius. The rivalry was no longer just a matter of statistics or medals. It was a global conversation, building with every match, every goal, every moment when the two greatest talents of their generation seemed to chase the same destiny from opposite ends of the pitch. The legend was forming, not in a single match, but in the space between their separate ascents, a rivalry that would soon become the measure of greatness itself. From 2008 onward, football's highest honor became a contest with two names. The Ballon d'Or, once a rotating crown, settled into a pattern. Messi, Ronaldo, Messi, Ronaldo. Year after year, the debate renewed. By 2023, Messi had lifted the trophy 8 times, the most in history, and Ronaldo 5. Each ceremony brought fresh arguments, new statistics, and yet the outcome always felt like a referendum on their rivalry. The numbers themselves became legend. Over 900 career goals for Ronaldo, more than 800 for Messi. Every time one set a record, the other chased it down. The world measured greatness by their shadows. Ronaldo's journey spanned continents and cultures. After dazzling at Manchester United, he became the face of Real Madrid's Galacticos, shattering Champions League records and collecting 4 Ballon d'Ors in white. He then crossed to Juventus, conquering Serie A, before moving to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia, where his drive and discipline turned him into a global ambassador for the sport's new frontiers. Messi, meanwhile, spent 17 years at Barcelona, rewriting the club's history with 4 consecutive Ballon d'Ors by age 25 and seasons of unthinkable numbers, 91 goals in a single year. Champions League glories, and a style that made every touch a highlight. When Barcelona's era ended, he joined Paris Saint-Germain, then Inter Miami, bringing his artistry to new leagues and new fans. Their duel spilled beyond the pitch. In Spain, El Clásico became a global ritual, watched by hundreds of millions. The presence of both icons drove La Liga's TV rights to record heights, 1.42 billion euros in the 2018 to 2019 season, while Barcelona and Real Madrid's revenues soared. Their rivalry became football's language. Every rising forward was measured against them, every marketing campaign borrowed their faces, and every young fan picked a side. Social media exploded with the GOAT debate, fueling a commercial machine that reached into Asia, Africa, and the Americas. Brands lined up, sponsorships multiplied, and the sport's reach grew wider than ever before. But the spotlight came at a price. As their images multiplied, so did the scrutiny. Critics warned that the obsession with Messi and Ronaldo risked turning football into a spectacle of personalities, not teams. The pressure to perform, the relentless comparisons, and the expectation to deliver magic every week became part of the job. Still, for nearly 2 decades, they bore it all, raising the standards so high that the rest of the football world could only watch, chase, and dream. This was not just a rivalry, it was the era's heartbeat, the measure by which greatness would forever be judged. In December 2022, Lionel Messi stood on the podium in Lusail, a gold medal around his neck, the World Cup trophy finally in his hands. Years of longing, heartbreak, and near misses dissolved in that moment. For Argentina, it was the answer to decades of prayers. For Messi, it was the last missing piece, a childhood dream realized on the grandest stage. His teammates lifted him high, the stadium roared, and the world watched as a quiet boy from Rosario became a legend with nothing left to prove. For Cristiano Ronaldo, the story remained unfinished. By 2022, he had conquered England, Spain, Italy, and the Champions League more times than any other player. Yet the World Cup, a prize he had chased across 5 tournaments, remained out of reach. Each summer brought a new hope, each exit another reminder of the one trophy that would not bend to his will. As Messi's tears of joy circled the globe, Ronaldo's gaze turned inward. The debate no longer centered on who had more goals or more Ballon d'Ors. It became about who still needed closure, who still had something left to chase. Both men had become fathers, their children old enough to understand what their careers meant. Messi spoke of giving his sons the memory of their father's greatest triumph, of sharing the magic of football as a family. Ronaldo, surrounded by his own children, often described their pride as his true legacy. The motivations shifted, no longer just for records or headlines, but for the people waiting at home, for the example set by every act of leadership on and off the field. In the twilight of their careers, leadership became a different kind of greatness. Messi's calm, his ability to lift teammates with a look or a gesture, defined Argentina's run in Qatar. Ronaldo's drive, his refusal to yield, inspired Portugal's younger generation to believe that anything was possible. The rivalry that once seemed measured in statistics now felt deeply human. 2 men, each carrying the weight of a nation, a family, and the unfinished business of a lifetime. The countdown to 2026 has become a test of willpower and biology. Cristiano Ronaldo, now 41, told the world this would be his last World Cup. His words landed with the finality of a closing door. No more comebacks, no more next times, For Messi, the confirmation came in quieter tones from Argentina's camp. He would return, but everyone understood the subtext. This is the end game. Every day is a negotiation with the body. Ronaldo's hamstring tendon, strained in February against Al-Fayha, forced him into a punishing cycle of recovery. Cryotherapy rooms set to minus 140 degrees, platelet-rich plasma injections, hours spent inside hyperoxygen chambers. Each therapy a small gamble against time. Portuguese sports scientists monitor his sprint data and muscle fatigue, searching for any sign that the body might fail before the mind does. Ronaldo insists he feels fine, but the routine is relentless. He is the oldest outfield player in the tournament, and every session is a reminder that nothing lasts forever. Messi faces his own battle. A flare of pain in his left hamstring during Inter Miami's May fixture brought the familiar dread. The diagnosis: muscle fatigue, not a tear, but enough to trigger a new protocol. Argentina's medical team shifted to targeted physiotherapy, careful load management, and strict limits on match minutes. Messi's approach is softer. Yoga at dawn, controlled sprints, massage therapy, and a focus on savoring each moment. He talks of gratitude, of making every training session count, but behind the calm is the awareness that any misstep could mean a premature farewell. Their routines are different, but the stakes are the same. Every ice bath, every monitored sprint, every hour of sleep is measured against the reality that this is the last chance. The pressure is not just in the headlines or the stadiums, it's in the quiet moments, the silent fear that the body will not answer the call. The final dance is not just a spectacle of skill, but a race against the inevitable, played out in muscle and bone, in pain and persistence, as football's greatest rivalry counts down to its last act. This is more than a farewell. As football enters a new age, the echoes of Ronaldo and Messi's rivalry linger in every stadium, every rising star. The world watches, knowing legends don't get replaced. They leave a void. Some eras end so loudly, their silence changes the game forever.